Hey there, welcome to the Mediocre Hunter. Today we have a very, very special guest with us today. This is a man, this is a legend. He's one of the founding fathers of New Hampshire Aquaponics. He's a master fisherman and hunter. I learn something from him every time he joins me, and we're doing Project Walleye today. We're here in late July in beautiful New Hampshire on the Connecticut River. We're gonna target these beasts that actually live in the Connecticut. They do live here, we're gonna prove it.
So we had success tonight.
Me too.
So what I do is, if we decide that we'll clean them tomorrow, at the very least I usually like to gut them the night before. So what I'll do is I'll make a cut.
Be nice to actually see what they're eating too, huh?
Yeah, actually we can.
Although
these may have been hungry.
Little post-mortem, as you call it.
Little post-mortem. And what I like to do is take out the gills. And
kind of like almost like on block, huh?
Yeah. Normally, if I was going to gut them tonight, or fillet them tonight, I would actually just go ahead and and skin them. So that's the air bladder you can see in there. Stomach was empty, so that's probably why they were so hungry tonight. Take out the air bladder, and then scrape out the kidneys, just so it doesn't taint the meat. And that's basically it. Just cleaning them out. We'll wrap them in paper, put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then we'll actually fillet them in the morning. We're going to skin the fish first before we fillet it. I usually like to make slits along the top and the bottom. To do this, ideally what you want to do is cut the head off and cut right down to the spine on either side, and then just break the head off. I had already gutted these last night. It would be the same procedure if you hadn't gutted it. You cut the head down to the spine, through the spine, and then tear down, and then you can pull the guts out. Flip the fish over, make a slit along the stomach, and then pull the rest of the guts out. And then you're going to make a cut along each side of the anal fin, which is this fin right here, right behind the anal vent. You're gonna cut. You don't have to go deep, just underneath the skin, but it just illustrates why you need to have a very sharp knife to do this. Let the knife do the work. Go again, same thing. And then I usually just cut to the same incision I made. Then I grab that anal fin, usually goes easier than this, and then just literally pull it right out, just like that. Put it aside. If you have any pelvic fins that are left on, like I did here, you can cut these off as well. like that. Turn it over, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make slits along the top on either side of the dorsal fin. Just a shallow cut, cutting the skin only. Same thing on the other side, right next to the spine, the dorsal fin, which is attached to the spine, or is directly above the spine.
And let the knife do the work.
Let the knife do the work. And then grab the end and pull the dorsal fin out. Just like that. Now, the skin has a slit over the top and over the bottom, all the way along the length of the fish. I use a Townsend fish skinner. I don't even know if they make these anymore. You can get them on eBay. You may pay around 50 bucks for it. I think they're worth it because a lot of times when you skin a fish, you'll lose quite a bit of meat that stays on the skin. This helps to keep most of that meat ready for filleting rather than stuck to the skin. Now, you've got two things. You've got this metal lip, and then you've got a roller. And the idea is you're going to close this, but as soon as you start rolling it, it'll catch that skin, and it'll literally separate the skin from the fish. And you just roll it. And that last little bit you can just pull off.
Oh, and that's nice.
And then there you are. You've got the skin, you got the flesh, and as you can see, there is essentially no meat left on the skin. So to fillet, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the fillet right off the bone. What you want to do is go right next to the spine. You need a really, really sharp knife. And what you do is you cut straight down, but right next to the spine. You really can't use gloves for this because it's much harder to feel what's going on if you're not wearing, if you're wearing gloves. And what you want to do is you want to go right next to the spine, but you want to make sure that you're keeping the bones on the one side and the meat on the other. Cut down, and you can feel with the blade, you can feel the bones on the one side, and then you're cutting straight down and you hit the ribs, and then you're going to come straight out at a 90-degree angle. So you go straight down and then turn the blade, come out 90 degrees. And you basically follow the spine all the way down like that. And again, you want to make sure you're keeping the bones, and you can even see, you can see that the spine is right, the bones coming up from the spine are right there. You can even hear it. And then you're taking the fillet right above the ribs. This is called the top fillet. In cod, they call this the captain's cut because it rarely contains any bones whatsoever. The lower half shouldn't contain it either, but this is sort of the choice cut, choice fillet. And you cut all the way back like that. And then you cut maybe 2/3 way back, and then the ribs will end about here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the blade, and along the lateral line, you'll have some bones. So what you'll do is you'll go just on the other side of the lateral line and cut straight down to the ribs. It's not very deep. And then you can feel cutting the rib meat, basically, off the ribs like this. And you're going to cut And if you use a very sharp knife, it'll go very easily and you won't cut yourself, trust me. And you'll cut back to, again, 2/3 way back, and you'll cut this fillet like this. And then what you end up with is like almost like a pair of pants. Yellow perch, white perch, you do the exact same way. And then you can notice here, that's all the ribs there. And you've basically taken the meat off the bones. You could probably cut maybe a little bit. You could have probably cut some of this. But again, if you want to make sure that it's boneless, you know, that's another little piece of fillet if you want to keep that. And then you put the blade flat, horizontal, and then you cut this rear fillet, which is boneless, right off the bones, like that. And now you're left with a boneless fillet. Here's the top fillet, bottom fillet. This is what most people lose. This fillet is what most people lose. Then turn the fish over and you do the exact same thing on the other side.